Hello everybody, this is Tim W. Leathertachi 1996 and welcome to episode 15 of Godzilla FX. Holy crap, we're this far. And this week we have Terror of MECHA-GODZILLA from 1975. Now, say hello to Ishiro Honda's last Godzilla film and the final entry in the original franchise that ran for 21 years. Now I'm saying this right now, this movie was, like how Kung Fu Panda says it, pure awesomeness. I mean, wow. This movie just... well, as you can tell by the poster, this is a direct sequel to last week's movie, and how do I mean that? Look at MECHA-GODZILLA's design. I mean, seriously. And look at Godzilla's design. Now, like I said, this movie was really good. This is not on my list of top 7. This isn't on my list of top 7. I wish it was, but it's not. But this is a really good Godzilla movie, and already I'm going to give my score and my recommendation. This movie gets special effects wise, this movie gets a good 10 out of 10 for special effects. I mean, there's not a single part of this movie that looks goofy. I mean, there's 4 effects cons that I found with this movie, but they're very small and they're really easy to overlook if you're just sitting and watching it. But when you tend to notice them, and you're just like, okay, that could have been whatever, that could have been better. But it's only 4 small effects cons that I found with this movie, so yeah, this movie gets a good 10 out of 10, and I would recommend this movie to mainly diehard Godzilla fans. Like, if you're willing, like me still, to keep pushing through the franchise, one movie after another here, like I have been for the last, for the last few months of doing this series here. If you're willing to keep on pushing through each movie like what's been happening, then this is the Godzilla movie for you. And I would definitely recommend this movie to anybody. I mean, this is a really, really awesome Godzilla movie. There's plenty of monster action to keep everybody entertained, and then the space apes are back. Yeah, space apes from the last movie, who rebuild MECHA-GODZILLA. And it makes you wonder, like, how did they rebuild MECHA-GODZILLA after a year? But it's alien technology, so you don't really question it. And here, this is our newest monster in the franchise here. Say hello to Titanosaurus. Nothing really special about this creature. It just looks more like an aquatic version of Godzilla, really. I mean, it's like Godzilla mixed with a seahorse. I mean, if you look at his... I mean, this is at the very beginning of the movie, actually. This is after... the way this movie literally starts is it's stock footage from every Godzilla movie from Godzilla vs. Monster Zero to Godzilla vs. MECHA-GODZILLA, giving you a history lesson on who Godzilla is. And then it does stock footage from last week's movie. Well, I said Godzilla vs. MECHA-GODZILLA because it kind of like gives you a history lesson on Godzilla, and then it like catches you up from last week's movie, so you know what's going on. And then you got Titanosaurus, who just like randomly shows up. It's like, oh, there's a new guy, okay. And there's 2 effects cons that I have with him. My first one being, he has a great design. He has a really great design, and he has a lot of detail. But his pecs on his chest there's some points in the movie where they look a little too rubbery, and they looked a little too much like a Halloween costume-ish. I don't know. It just looks really odd, but like the rest of him is super detailed, and then you have this very smooth, rubbery looking chest. I don't know. It just looks really weird. But the rest of it, that's my first effects con with Titanosaurus. My next effects con will come when the next screenshot shows up. But yeah, like I said, this happens at like the very beginning of the movie where Titanosaurus destroys a submarine, and it's a small little effect, but the explosion underwater looks really cool. Like you have him causing a whirlpool to make the submarine come up, and then Titanosaurus just explodes from the water and he roars, and then he just jumps on the submarine and rips it apart. It's like, oh wow, okay. And if you look at his design, he looks like Gorgo. And I know a long time ago in one review, I can't remember which one it was, but I know I said Gorgo's from the year 1961. I was wrong. He's from the year 1967, so sorry about that, folks. You look at Titanosaurus, he looks like Gorgo. Seriously. Like, this is from, like I said, this movie's from 1975. Oh, here we go. This is my other effects con with Titanosaurus right here. Oh, and before I mention that, all these pictures are in sequence. All of these pictures are in perfect sequence. Yeah. I managed to find pictures. They're not Blu-ray, but they're HD screenshots in order. So my other effects con is right in this scene when Titanosaurus is sent to go destroy the city. It doesn't say what city it is. I think it's Tokyo Bay. And, you know, the military shoots at him. I mean, the scenes here with the military shooting at Titanosaurus, they're really good, except for this one shot where these jets start shooting at him, and Titanosaurus, like, he jumps in the air, and the jets, like, slam into his chest and blow up. But the thing is that, it looks like, I don't know, it's like he stands up in midair when the jets come flying at him. I don't know, it just looks really weird. It looks like he's carried over to the jets and not flying over to the jets when he jumps in the air, because he's standing up. He stands up while he's in the air. It looks really, really weird. It's a really awkward shot. Like, okay, how does that even make any sense? Well, that's my other, there's actually another effects con with this same scene, but it's not with Titanosaurus. It's actually with two human characters in this movie. There's one girl who controls Titanosaurus with a device that her father made. And you know that play pause effect that you see a lot of YouTube videos do, where they have like they would play a video and then run away, and then they record again and it looks like that they disappeared. They do that in this movie, but it doesn't look like they do it smooth. There's no effect for it. It's just like, boom, she and this old dude just disappear. Like, it's clearly an early version of the play pause effect, but there's no effect for it. Like, they should have done an effect for it. Like, if they were teleporting or something, they should have had, like, some light flashing or something, but they don't do that. It's just, it's like they're there, and then they, boom, just vanish. Like, huh? It just looks really, really weird. It's, like I said, early version of pause and record effect, but it's like they should have had an effect for them disappearing. And it happens twice within a span of less than a minute, which is really weird. But anyways, back to the real highlight. Oh, this scene here. Okay. This is where Godzilla has the best entrance, excuse me, in a Godzilla movie. This is literally his best entrance in the entire franchise. Like, literally, this is his best ever. Whatever. This is his best entrance right here. This is in the same scene as the last screenshot. The military shooting at Titanosaurus, and he's destroying everything. Classic Toho, amazing effects, really, really good. Ishiro Honda knew how to, end this franchise. He so knew how to do it, because he started Godzilla, so he may as well end it. Anyways, it's right after Titanosaurus destroys this one seriously, like, really huge building, and then the camera pans over to the left where this is all at night, which is even cooler. And then you see this silhouette just come up from behind a couple of these buildings, and then you see Godzilla's atomic breath hit Titanosaurus. Titanosaurus just falls, or he falls backwards. Then there's a flash of light behind the silhouette, and then the light reveals it's Godzilla. It's a great entrance. Me telling you that, it sounds weird, but when you watch the film itself, it looks dope. It's a really cool entrance for the King of the Monsters to show up, and like I say, this movie and last week's movie took Godzilla serious, and I love it. Any Godzilla fan would love this. And his roar is very like high pitched. Like his roar is so high pitched. Like it's not deep and loud, it's screechy and loud. And one thing and I wonder, I think this is the same suit from the last movie. I think it is. They just modified his face a little bit. I guess I'm not entirely sure, but I do love the detailing on it. If you look at the top of his head, it looks very reminiscent of the very first movie from 1954. It has a very dragon-like impression on the top of his head there. And he has this really pissed off look on his face. And the funny thing with Godzilla and Titanosaurus is and I don't know, it's just that did they I guess know each other? I mean, they're both dinosaurs technically, so I don't know. But like I said, the Godzilla's entrance in this movie is really cool. I mean, seriously, it feels like a nostalgia moment, which is why it's cool, because it's like you're waiting for Godzilla to show up, and then when he does, it's like, oh, there he is. This is in the same scene. This is in the same scene as the two other screenshots here. And the fight between Godzilla and Titanosaurus, it's super brief. Like, all it is just Titanosaurus, punching Godzilla and, hitting Godzilla in the face. And then the teleporting girl, the pause record girl, she falls into the water, and then her father messes with Titanosaurus's control device and has him go save her. So you just see these two fight for a bit, and then Titanosaurus his head just shakes like he's something's wrong with him, and then he just walks away. And then you see Godzilla, he stares Titanosaurus down, and then when Titanosaurus walks away, Godzilla roars and he puts his hands out like, why are you running? Get back here! Seriously. And in the miniature sets that, in the miniature cities that they have in this movie are really well detailed. They've always looked good. I don't know why, but they always know how to do a good job when it comes to miniature sets. They really do. And the details on both of the suits are really good, especially Titanosaurus. Godzilla has a lot of detail on that suit, but Titanosaurus has a lot more detail on it. And yes, if you look at, like I said earlier, look at Titanosaurus. Now that you can actually see him, it's Godzilla mixed with a seahorse. But I would not be surprised if Toho thought of that while they were designing him. But like I said, he reminds me of Gorgo. He's like a Japanese Gorgo, Gorgo, seriously. And his roar, I don't know, Titanosaurus, he has a weird, I can't even, half the roars of the monsters in these movies, in these films, I can't describe them. You'd have to, sorry, you'd have to go watch the movie to hear it. But overall, this movie is just chock full of, I'll say it once, I say it again, this movie was chock full of great effects work. There's a lot of green screens they have in this movie. They do it to make the monsters look large, so it's anything to make people look like ant-sized. So the green screens are okay. They're just old time green screens. Can't really say nothing about them actually. But it was just so funny, Godzilla, his first fight in the movie, and it only happens, it's not even 30 seconds, more like 10, actually. It's a really brief fight. Not even a fight, really, just a punch in the face, then Titanosaurus walking away, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Now here we got MECHA-GODZILLA, and I don't know if this is for this one. I don't know if this is the same suit. I think this one's a different suit because a different suit with the same design because in this movie MECHA-GODZILLA's torso is more slimmed down from the last movie. Because the other one, his torso was really round, and this one, his torso was more slimmed down, and it actually makes more sense. And I love MECHA-GODZILLA in this movie better than the last movie because in last week's movie, MECHA-GODZILLA, the way he moved was too much 1970s I am a robot. In this movie, he moves a lot more naturally. I mean, he is, well, obviously, yeah, he's a robot, but he doesn't move like a robot in this movie. He really doesn't. He moves a lot more smooth. He moves a lot more smoothly in this movie, and I really like that. And he moves a lot more slower instead of fast. I don't know. It's just I love MECHA-GODZILLA in this movie more. And the miniature set that's surrounding him in this shot, I can't really say nothing about it because it looks really simple. I mean, this is supposed to be the second alien base that the space apes have established here on Earth. So it just looks super, I don't know, it just looks like kind of, not plain, but it just looks a little bit plain, like they could have added a little more to it to make it look like it's an alien base instead of this plain destroy all monsters looking base. I don't know why alien bases in these movies, in some old movies, are like a hit or miss, but the main focus here is the monsters. Now, on the MECHA-GODZILLA suit, it looks a little more detailed, actually. It looks like more rusted, a little more, I don't know, I just love him better in this. I just love Mecha-G way better in this movie. Like, seriously, it looks so much, I don't know, it's like the movie tech improved. Like, this movie's it's a big improvement from the last movie. It may not look like it, but it is, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Here in a little bit, but seriously, MECHA-GODZILLA, and his roar doesn't sound so broken radio staticky like he was last week. Like he was in last week's movie. This time it's the same roar, but they played with it, and it sounds, I don't know, everything about MECHA-GODZILLA in this movie is better than his last movie. I did love the last movie. I really did. It's my 6th favorite Godzilla film. But I just love him I love him in this one more, actually. Oh my god, here's the main piece of effects work. This is like, I think halfway through the movie, where Titanosaurus and MECHA-GODZILLA start destroying Tokyo. And there's one funny part I really have to mention. When MECHA-GODZILLA is destroying the city, there's this one, I know I'm not talking about people, but I have to talk about this because it's hilarious. This is where Godzilla gets a really bad vote of confidence because one of the main human characters points out MECHA-GODZILLA's arsenal, and this dude behind him goes, "It's terrible, Godzilla might lose." Like, dude, really? Thanks for the vote of confidence, jerk. Jesus. I'm sorry, I had to mention that one scene because it's like, really? Apparently somebody didn't have faith in the big guy. But if you look at this screenshot right here, this movie, like Godzilla vs. MECHA-GODZILLA, this movie, it has explosions. Oh, and did I mention in this movie there's explosions? Like, dead serious. There's so many explosions in this movie. It's like, Michael Bay! Like that kind of explosion. Seriously, just look at this screenshot alone. And what's so crazy is those group of buildings, those actually blew up right in front of the suit. Like, everything about Toho is that everything happens on that set. Like, seriously. But the thing is that you get so lost. The thing I really love about these films is that you get so lost in the movie and you forget that it's a miniature set. You so easily forget that. And you're like, oh my god, it's a city being blown up. And that's what I really love about the Godzilla franchise, is that they all do that. You get so lost in these movies. And this explosion here, and the thing is Mechagodzilla just loves using the lasers coming out of his eyes, and he just everything just blows up all the hell. Sorry, it's just one crazy monster mash. And there is a cool effect with Titanosaurus also, where the back of Titanosaurus's tail opens up and out comes like this other fin or sail, and he shakes his tail around and causes winds that can level buildings. Like, okay, that's pretty interesting. Because when you look at Titanosaurus, he has no powers. He really does not. Like, the tail thing is the only ability that he has. He doesn't have no fire coming out of his mouth or nothing. They literally explain in the movie. They don't say he's a mutant. They don't say he's mutated or none of that. They just said that he's an aquatic dinosaur, and he's supposed to be gentle, but literally that thing is supposed to be gentle. They literally explain that in this movie. But the aliens make him aggressive. The aliens and the human scientist that works with them make Titanosaurus really pissed off and really aggressive. Oh, and then there's this screenshot here. Okay, like in the last movie, Godzilla gets his ass beat. He really does. It's like when he and Mechagodzilla fight here in these last two films, Godzilla gets his ass kicked, and the last movie Godzilla was bleeding. He's turned into a blood sprinkler, but this time he just gets beat up and he gets knocked out and punched and beat up, and Mechagodzilla just shoots at him. Mechagodzilla shoots at him while Titanosaurus grabs him and throws him around, kicks him around, and knocks him up against hills. It's like you kind of feel sorry for him for Godzilla, because he's up against. I mean, yeah, we've seen Godzilla come up against more than two monsters before. He's fought 3 giant praying mantises and a giant spider, for crying out loud. But in this movie, these two, Titanosaurus is pretty tough. He is. These two, Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla, they're pretty tough opponents. And Godzilla, he gets his tail handed to him in this movie. Titanosaurus, he's a pretty tough dude. So this is like Godzilla's his greatest challenge, in like they say in a lot of action franchises. But yeah, Titanosaurus just kicks him around, and there's this point where he grabs Godzilla by his mouth, by his top jaw, with his mouth, and he is strong enough to lift him in the air and then bring him back down, punch him in the throat, literally punches him in the throat, and then lifts him back up, and then puts him back down. Like, he makes Godzilla dizzy, and Mechagodzilla shoots at him. And as you can tell here, there's the miniature set here with the dirt, this whole countryside thing outside the city. It's really, I love like environment things better than cities, actually. I don't know, I really like these environmental sets. But yeah, the monster battles alone are great pieces of effects work, especially this last one here. Yeah, as you can tell, Godzilla's on the ground and Titanosaurus they're both standing above him. It's like, oh my god, they're winning. It's like, oh my god, they're winning. And I mean, this time, like Godzilla had help in the last in last week's movie. This time he's by himself. He's by himself against Titanosaurus and Mechagodzilla, and it's like, wow, he's really getting his ass handed to him. Okay, this scene here, this is actually a good piece of effects work. You got the miniature set, the really cool countryside, deserty miniature set, and where Titanosaurus is standing on he's actually standing on Godzilla, because Mechagodzilla literally buries Godzilla here by shooting at the dirt, and then Titanosaurus goes and jumps on him. He jumps on Godzilla he goes and jumps on the knocked out Godzilla like a trampoline, and then what those things are actually visible supersonic waves, because apparently supersonic waves they disorientate Titanosaurus. He gets disoriented, and it's like his weakness or something like that. They don't really explain why. They just say he can't stand supersonic waves. And they exploit that, and they drive Titanosaurus nuts. they shoot this thing into his neck. The humans do. They shoot this thing into his neck, and Titanosaurus tries to get it out, but then these supersonic waves start hitting that spot, and it drives Titanosaurus nuts. Like, it starts driving him crazy. So it's like the humans distract Titanosaurus when Godzilla just explodes from the ground and starts wailing on MECHA-GODZILLA here. And the thing with Titanosaurus, it happens a long time, actually. Like, it happens for a little bit, and then it stops, and then it resumes again. So the monster battle, every final monster battle in this movie, in this whole franchise, has always been really long. It's just been like, they want to show as much monster action as possible. So, yeah, that's all. And it is a really good effect, actually, when you look at the visible supersonic waves. It kind of puts the sci-fi, puts the science fiction into it, you know? I really like that. That's actually a nice little thing here. It's actually a really nice little, I don't know, it's just little pieces of effects work just go like, huh, okay. Well, alright, there you go. That's all I really got to say about this shot here. And yeah, you see more of the detailing on the Titanosaurus suit. And like I said, Godzilla mixed with a seahorse / Gorgo. Like, that's what I really think of Titanosaurus' design. I mean, seriously, I love him. I really do like Titanosaurus, but just his design is like, you can clearly tell where they got the inspiration from. I'm just waiting for the next screenshot to show up, because the next screenshot I think is a really great piece of effects work. Another great piece. Like, this movie's just one amazing piece of special effects work after another. Like I said, Ishiro Honda ended the franchise the right way. Like I said, here we go. Okay, remember way back in Mothra vs. Godzilla when I showed the screenshot of Godzilla's face being on fire? Well, once again, here we go. The Godzilla suit catches on fire, but it's the back. And once again, MECHA-GODZILLA does an all weapon strike on Godzilla here. He does a full weapon strike on him, and Godzilla, he charges through. He comes straight at Mechagodzilla while he's getting shot up. I mean, this is like the movie where Godzilla is like, he kind of acts like he did in Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. He's like, I want you dead. Like, he wants Mechagodzilla to die already. Like, seriously. Just like he did with Hedorah in Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. Like, he really wants to just make sure Mechagodzilla is destroyed. And the full weapon strike, you see like the back of Godzilla's back's on fire. And it's so funny how his backplates didn't like get damaged from that. Like, seriously, I can't believe the suit I mean, of course there had to have been some damage from that, but it didn't look like it. And there's like one piece of stock footage from last week's movie, but it's only shown like one time, but it's the same shot just from a different angle. They either reshot that and did it and happened to pull it off the same way, or it's stock footage, they just switched the angle around. Either way, it blends well. Like, either way, it does actually blend well. And when it comes to this movie, it's like, that's only the real piece of stock footage other than the opening to the movie. Like I said, when he gives you the little history lesson on who Godzilla is up until this point. And with the suit on fire, I don't know why, that actually looks cool. I don't know why. That just looks really cool. Like, his face being on fire, okay, that just looked weird, but his back being on fire? Okay, not gonna lie, that actually does look pretty dope. Like, what if they were to have Godzilla like, if they were to do an all CGI Godzilla where his backplates are on fire the whole time? Like that? I don't know. It's like he's got fire on his back instead of backplates. I don't know. But when sometimes accidents happen, the accidents look good. I don't know why. Sometimes in this franchise is like, when there have been accidents, the accidents look good. Like, truly. Like, for real. I don't know. That's just me personally. Sorry about that. I don't wish nothing bad upon nobody, but I don't know why. Sometimes movie accidents, they work well with the movie. It works. Oh, man. it's just like I said, I really did love this. Oh my god, here we go. Okay, once again, Mechagodzilla's head gets removed. I mean, seriously, but this time, Mechagodzilla has a backup plan. Remember in the last movie, Godzilla had popped Mechagodzilla's head off. That was the end of it. Well, the aliens learned from that mistake, and they gave Mechagodzilla a backup plan, which is this: there's this laser in the head stump that shoots at Godzilla. Like, wow, he can still fight even without his head. Like, seriously. And it's just so crazy with, I don't know what is Godzilla's obsession with taking Mechagodzilla's head off. Like, I mean, I guess it's like decapitation! Well, to a robot. But, seriously, when it's like you see this little light bulb looking thing in the head stump, Godzilla here, he throws the head aside, but then Mechagodzilla does this laser at him from the head stump, and it's like, wow, he can still fight. It's just it's a total surprise. Like, the scene comes off as a total shocker moment. Like, wait, what? Like, you're sitting there like, oh wow, okay. And then Godzilla, he goes up and he just punches Mechagodzilla, messes him up bad, breaks him. It's like a child getting mad at a toy and he beats the crap out of it. Like, seriously. And the whole time he's doing this, Titanosaurus is getting pissed off at the humans using supersonic waves on him. And the way Mechagodzilla actually really gets destroyed, it's actually kind of a sad moment in this movie, because the human girl who the aliens saved because of her getting electrocuted. Now, the effect of her getting electrocuted looks so cheesy. It's so cheesy, it's not even funny. The aliens come in and they saved her life by making her a cyborg, quite literally. And the controller for Mechagodzilla, the base control, is in her stomach. So she had to shoot herself in the stomach to destroy Mechagodzilla. So Godzilla can destroy him. Like, it's a very, I don't know, with the human character, I mean, the effects of her shooting herself in the stomach, it looks really good, truly. I love the fact that she's a cyborg. The scenes with that, the effects for that are really good. Like, seriously. Like I said, they really put a lot of time and effort into this movie. And, like, apparently Godzilla, he doesn't know about who's controlling Mechagodzilla. All he knows is Mechagodzilla is, like, getting messed up, and he's messing him up. That's all Godzilla cares about. Oh, and then here we come to the last screenshot in this movie. And this is after he kills Titanosaurus by shooting his atomic breath at him in his chest, and he makes him fall backwards into the ocean, killing him. And the movie ends with Godzilla going back to the ocean with one final roar here. I mean, this is like, it's a good farewell to the King of the Monsters. 21 years from 1954 to all the way up to 1975 here, Godzilla, he was a menace to society, and he was he was a menace to society. Then he became a hero, then a single parent. Then he was framed in last week's movie, and he became a superhero. And there's one moment I really have to mention about this, which is hilarious. Like I said, I know this is an effects review, but there's another scene I have to point out. There's a scene when Titanosaurus is destroying the city. There's these two teenagers that get curious, and they try to go look at Titanosaurus, and when Titanosaurus starts coming toward them, the two teenagers run away, and they start shouting Godzilla's name, and all of a sudden Godzilla just shows up. Like, where did he come from? And that's how the final monster battle in this movie starts, is Godzilla, he just shows up. Like, really? It's like they were calling Godzilla for help, and Godzilla does this old-time superhero-style appearance, and then he goes and he starts beating up Titanosaurus. But, yeah, This is Godzilla's last film here, the 15th and final entry in the original, in the OG franchise. This was a good farewell to the King of Monsters. This was a true farewell. They ended the franchise. They ended it on a great note. We've seen Godzilla fight many monsters the world over. So he's been through so many adventures. For 21 years, he's gone through a lot. This one character, you know, I can't believe it. This was, I mean, this ending with him going in the ocean. It is a nice farewell. It really is. I don't know. It's just, Ishiro Honda, you did a great job. You started Godzilla, and you ended him. 21 years, your creation has stomped cities, battled menaces from outer space, four alien species from outer space, defended the world from the scum of the earth. Goodbye, Godzilla. The true king of the monsters. And I really love the ending. The effect for this is really cool. You got, and this was shot in the pool tank in the back of the studio. This had to have been. I really do love the effect. The final shot is a great piece of effects work. It does not look cheesy at all. It looks great. It looks really great. So, well, I hope you enjoyed these 15 episodes here. Please like and subscribe to not only this channel, but the Movie Reviews Library, and to Megas-Dragon for making the logo. So, peace out, everybody. See ya.